Welcome to English Without Limits. In today's lesson, we're going to learn how to talk about climate and geography. Climate means what is the weather like where you live? And geography means what is the land like? What is the physical place like where you live? These are important because no matter where you live, it seems people are always talking about the weather. It's hot, or it's cold, or it's rainy, or it's dry. And it's important to know what the land is like because when you meet someone from another area, you might want to know, what is it like where you live? Is it very flat? Are there lots of mountains? Do you live by the ocean? Or do you live very far from the ocean? And so these are all important. I hope you enjoy today's lesson. Before we go on to the new material, let's review what we learned last time. We were talking about prepositional phrases. A prepositional phrase is a group of words like in the house, under the stairs, or in the kitchen. And these are words that tell us where something is or where something happens. So let's join the class as they begin to review prepositional phrases.
All right, so good afternoon. How is everyone? Great! Oh, I'm so glad you're great. Oh, you're better? Or you're bad? Oh, yes, very hot. Oh, yes, I know. It's hot out there. Yes. So, we're going to review the last lesson. So, first of all, in this sentence, which is the preposition? What is the preposition? By. Yes. Very good. By. And what is the by the lamp? Oh, I barely had to say it. By the lamp. So, is this here, what are two different ways that prepositions can be used? Adverb. And adjective. Very good. So, which question do we ask for adjective?
Which one?
Which one? And what might be a question we would ask for adverb? Where, when? Under what circumstance? Good. So, which is this here by the lamp? Is that an adverb or an adjective? Remember we talked about where the verb is or where the... Remember this describes verbs. And this describes... What was it called? Nouns. Good. So the chair by the lamp is for you. Remember, if I'm telling my friend, go sit in the chair, and they say, which chair? The chair by the lamp. So this is an adjective. It's being used as an adjective. So, which here is the preposition? What's the preposition in this sentence? Yes, beside. And then what is the phrase? Beside the bed. So now, is this prepositional phrase? This is the verb. So, is it being used as an adverb or an adjective?
Adverb.
Yes, it's being used as an adverb. Good job, because I'm saying where my dog sleeps. Where does your dog sleep? Beside the bed. Good job.
Let's review a bit of what the teacher was saying and add a bit to it as well. Remember, a phrase is a group of words that belong together. And it's not a clause, because a clause has a subject and a verb. It has someone or something doing the action, and it has an action. But a phrase is just a smaller group of words that go together. And a prepositional phrase is a phrase that begins with a preposition. So it can be something like in the house, across the road, through the field, in the woods. And these phrases will tell us where something is or where something is happening. Now, if it's telling us where something is, we could often use it as an adjective to describe something. Which object? And it would answer that question. When we're describing an object or a noun, we're using it like an adjective. Sometimes they can also function like an adverb. Let's see an example of this. If I were to use this sentence, the man in the house is my uncle. The man in the house is my uncle. That prepositional phrase, in the house, is describing the man. Which man? The man in the house. There could be a man outside the house and a man in the other house, but I'm talking about the man in the house. He is my uncle. And so the phrase in the house is describing the man. It's describing an object. So the phrase in the house is functioning like an adjective. But if I were to use a different sentence with that prepositional phrase, I could say, my brother ran in the house and broke a mirror. My brother ran in the house and broke a mirror. That phrase, in the house, is telling you where my brother ran. Maybe he ran across the road before. Maybe he ran in the field. Those are okay. But he ran in the house and something was broken. So in the house tells you where he ran. It's describing an action, running. And so when it's describing an action, the prepositional phrase is functioning like an adverb. So the same phrase, in the house, can act like an adjective describing a noun, or it can act like an adverb describing an action. I hope this helps you to remember what a prepositional phrase is and what it can do. When I meet people from other countries, I sometimes like to ask them what it's like where they live. I'll ask them about the weather, the climate. Is it very hot where you live, or is it cold? Is it warm? Does it rain a lot, or is it very dry? This is the climate. Or sometimes I'll ask them about the geography. That is, what is the land like where you live? Are there mountains? Is it very flat? Are you near the ocean? And you can have two places that can be very flat, for example, and the temperature, the climate, can be very different in each of them. One can be very cold, and one can be very hot. I live in a place in Canada where it's very flat, and in the summer it can be very hot. In the winter it can be very cold. And when I meet people from other countries and I tell them how cold it can get here, sometimes they find that very interesting. These things are important because no matter where we live, we like to talk about the land around us, and we like to talk about the weather. So let's join the class as they begin to learn about climate and geography.
And we're going to learn about something completely new today. We're learning about climate and geography. What is geography? Geography. That's the different kind of land that we have. So first of all, can you describe what about the land around you here in Ternopil? Would you say you live near the mountains? No, I would agree. Well, would you say you live in a forest?
No.
Would you say you lived in a desert?
What's a desert?
Oh, very good question. A desert is where it's very dry, very dry. And you have maybe cactuses? Do you guys have cactuses?
No.
No, they have pricklies on them.
Small cactuses in house.
Yes, in the house. But a desert is where there's lots of these. And it's very dry. It rains very little. Okay? So, I would say, do you know what the word prairie is? Prairie.
What's a prairie?
It's very kind of flat and a lot of grass.
Yes.
Would you say you lived kind of in a prairie? And it's kind of flat here, isn't it? Right? It's kind of flat. So first, we're going to look at, would you say you lived where it's hot? It's very hot. I know in this picture, yes, today it is very hot. Very hot. Quite hot, yes. Or does it get very cold? Oh, yes. Is it cold right now? No. Is it hot? Yes, yes. So what about in the winter? Does it get very cold here?
Yes.
Do you have a lot of snow?
Yes.
Uh-huh. So there's two different ways you can describe where you live. You can say, where I live, it is very hot. Or where I live, it is very cold. Okay?
Not very
So, these are the different ways we're going to describe forest. It's a lot of trees, okay? It's lots of trees. You could live in the mountains. There's mountains. Okay? Are there mountains here in Ukraine?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you don't live. Here's a prairie.
The biggest mountain on Ukraine is in Guatemala.
Okay. A desert. See, I'll show you this picture up close. This is a desert. It's very dry. There's not very green. There's no leaves on the trees. Okay? This is like a desert. Okay? Hills. Do you have some hills near your house? Those are mountains. So hills, mountains are, hills are more like that, okay? Flatlands is very flat. You live in the flatlands. You're kind of similar to a prairie. Now, last one is a jungle. Ooh. Are there any jungles here? No. Yeah. There are different kinds of jungles. So, how would you describe where you live? Tell me in a sentence. I live
in prairie and flatland.
Yes, yes. And you could say, where I live, it is very hot on the prairie, or it is very hot in the flatlands. Okay?
You saw the pictures for each type of climate and geography. Let's review these again now, just so that you're very familiar with them. I will show you the picture and give the name for that climate or geography the first time, and then I will show them again a couple of times in different orders, and you must give the name for either the climate or the type of geography. Remember, for climate, we just have hot and cold here. The rest of them will all be something like the forest, or the hills, or the mountains, or the flatlands. All right? So let's review these together. The first time we show them, I will give you the name, and after that, you must give the name. All right? Are you ready? Let's begin. Repeat after me. Hot. Cold. Desert. Flatlands. Forest. Hills. Jungle. Mountains. Prairie. Now you say it without me.
We will do another matching game. Okay. So I have here different pictures. What do you think that is? Mountains. Mountains. And there are matching sentences in here. You'll see it says here, I live on top of a hill. You see? It says, I live on top of a hill. So you were trying to find the sentence that matches the picture. So again, we'll do you two boys and Lena, and you three will be on the other side. Okay. So we'll do it like we had before. So remember to be on this side of the table. Okay. Leanna, can you come here? Thank you. Thank you.